This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Peter Shapiro, Chair of the Prince George's County Planning Board of the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. Welcome to our annual budget forum. We are here to seek your input as we plan and continue to deliver on our dynamic experiences, our innovative programming, our lively facilities and parks and trails for all the residents and stakeholders and staff and visitors of Prince George's County. And your participation is important. So we're glad you're here. Your voice helps to guide us through the planning board, as we work throughout the budget process throughout the year. This past fiscal year, we were proud to have returned in person to many of the Department of Parks and Recreation signature events and programming, and the planning department included several major master plans and studies, including the cultural arts study, the economic development plan, and many, many more. So with your input, we will continue to build upon our dynamic programs and to support our county's growth in economic development and plan for future generations. For this forum, I'd like to introduce my colleagues from the Planning Board who are joining us. We have Vice Chair Bailey with us. We have Commissioner Dorner as well. We have Commissioner Giraldo.
Good evening.
And Commissioner Washington.
Good evening.
We have the full complement with you. Please note this meeting is being recorded. The video will be archived and able to be accessed via the Planning Board's website. And prior to your testimonies, our Budget Director will give a brief presentation on the operating budget, the capital improvement program, and the overall budget process timeline. We appreciate that you've taken the time to join us this evening and share your ideas. And we would also like to remind you that concerns or requests can be handled by our staff throughout the year, not just at a forum like this. We have several key members of our planning and parks and recreation departments who are here as well, who are listening and who will be making notes of any concerns that they hear. I believe we have our executive director, Assumpta Chang Smith. Do we? Not sure. We have our budget director, as I noted, Mr. John Kroll. We have Planning Director Checkley is here. Do we have Planning Director Checkley? Not sure. We also have our Acting Deputy Planning Director, Derek Balaj, and our Deputy Planning Director, Suzanne King. We have the Director for the Department of Parks and Recreation, Bill Tyler, and our Deputy Director for Parks and Recreation, Parks and Facilities Management, Deputy Director Stephen Carter, and Recreation and Leisure Services Deputy Director Juan Ramos, and Administration and Development Deputy Director Evan McNeil, as well as our Chief of Park Police, Stanley Johnson. I'm glad everyone was able to join us as well and to hear any questions or concerns and comments that we have from the public. Now I'd like to share briefly with everybody the participation guidelines for this meeting. Registered speakers are can be connected through the computer, your tablet, your smartphone. You can join the meeting with a link provided via email from the Planning Board office. Online registered participants may be prompted to install GoToMeeting software in order to participate in the process. Registered speakers may also listen or participate in the meeting using a phone line and the call-in number provided via email. We ask that all participants, including staff and we as Planning Board members, to mute your phones when not speaking. Don't put your phone on hold, just mute it when you're not speaking. And we'll hear a brief overview of the Commission's budget in Prince George's County from the Prince George's County side of the Commission's budget from Budget Director Ron Cole. Then we'll hear testimony from you all. And we ask that you limit your remarks to 3 minutes, as a clock will be displayed on the screen and help you manage the time. And if you have more comments to add or have additional thoughts later, we will be accepting written comments until the close of business on Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. So lots of time for additional comments as you have them. The written comments can be submitted to my attention via mail, fax, or email. That's shown on the screen in front of you, and it's listed on the meeting agenda as well. So now, let me turn it over to John Kroll for the budget presentation, and then following that, again, we'll hear from the public, from you all. So, Mr. Kroll, thank you. Take it away.
Thank you, and good evening. As you can see from this first slide, there are two budget forums. This is the first of two. The second one will be on October 18th in 2 weeks. Next slide, please. Just a brief overview of who we are. We're the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. We're a bi-county agency serving Prince George's and Montgomery counties. We were created many years ago in 1927 by the General Assembly. We oversee the operations of the Prince George's County side of by the Planning Board. That includes the Department of Parks and Recreation and the Planning Department. Slide. Our services are available to all the residents and visitors to Prince George's County. Since 2010, the population we serve has grown by about 89,000 to almost 1 million people. Next slide. The services that we provide. Our general mission is to manage physical growth and plan communities, to protect and steward cultural, natural, and historic resources, to provide leisure and recreational experiences. We maintain natural areas and parks throughout the county. We offer locations that residents can provide to recreate and enjoy the open space and natural resources in one of the best parks and recreation systems in the nation. And as you'll see from the bottom of this slide, we're very proud of the fact that we're an unprecedented 6-time National Gold Medal Award winner for excellence in park and recreation management. Next slide. This pie chart shows how the services are funded. If the use of reserves were not included, property taxes would make up 90% of the revenue to pay for services. The property tax rate, which is unchanged since fiscal year 16, remains at 29.4 cents per $100 of assessed valuation. Next slide. What does this cost the average homeowner? There you go. Cost the average homeowner $2.88 a day in property taxes for all the recreation, park, and planning services delivered by the Commission. It's a little over $1,000 per year based on the average value of a Prince George's County home. Next slide. This graphic shows what your investment brings in parks and recreation. I'll let you dwell on what's available. Quite a few things. Numerous athletic fields, miles of trails, hundreds of playgrounds, 45 community centers. We have futsal courts, we have pickleball courts, tennis courts. And as you see from the left-hand corner, even an airport. Next slide, please. A couple highlights. We are breaking ground this coming January for the design for the new Marlow Heights Community Center. We have new playgrounds coming online, and we have construction starting on a new bridge connecting Prince George's and Anne Arundel County on the WB&A Trail. Next slide, please. Then we have some grand openings. We have a recording studio at the Southern Regional Technology and Recreation Complex. We have the Suitland Community Center, Kaboom Playground. We have new fitness equipment at Lake Artemisia. And we have the Tucker Road Community Center, Kaboom Playground as well. Next slide, please. A couple planning highlights. We've completed a couple major plans. Economic Development Strategic Action Plan for the county, and the Cultural Arts Study. Next slide, please. The budget for the current fiscal year 23, $515 million for all the operating funds. Most of the budget, about 85%, is spent on parks and recreation services. You can see the pie charts, recreation, parks. In that 85% is also capital projects and the debt service for capital projects. Next slide, please. This quick slide shows the current six-year capital improvements program, fiscal years 23 to fiscal year 28. Keep in mind that only the first year fiscal year 23, the current year we're in now, is funded. Subsequent years are subject to change. Next slide, please. This is a typical budget cycle. Pretty much a 12-month process. We begin in July and August. Public budget forums, of which this is the first one, is the next step. We seek guidance from the Spending Affordability Committee of the county and the planning board. We proceed through October and November to again being back in front of the Spending Affordability Committee of the county. And at the commission meeting in December, the commission adopts our proposed budget. The budgets are submitted to the county council and executive by January 15th. In their budget hearings and meetings with the county executive sends her budget recommendations to the county council. We have joint county council meetings for commission-wide meeting items in May, and then adoption in May by the county and June by the commission. Next slide, please. The revenue picture looking forward. This is the property tax revenue, which funds the vast majority of our services. As with the property valuations, property tax revenues continue to grow with no tax rate increase since fiscal year 16. Next slide, please. The strategy going forward for fiscal year 24. Assuming property value projections are realized, we're projected to be in good fiscal shape through fiscal year 29. Initiatives for fiscal year 24 include developing innovative arts and cultural programs and activities for teens, seniors, and youth, emphasizing the county's diverse cultures. We intend to increase social media outreach by utilizing new tools to connect with residents and visitors, to continue to address infrastructure improvement needs in our facilities, utilizing PAYGO from both the park and recreation funds, to enhance maintenance standards for trails, ball fields, and playgrounds, to continue to focus on organizational stability and succession planning, to continue to support creative placemaking focused on goals set out in Plan 2035, which contributes towards creating places that promote health, well-being, and community connections. And finally, to accelerate investment in our IT infrastructure to improve critical parts of our IT environment to help support the Commission's mission. And as always, to responsibly plan for the future, to continue to balance community needs with fiscal reality. Next slide, please. Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission is committed to building strong, healthy, sustainable communities. With your help and input, we'll continue to do so. And thank you for participating in tonight's forum.
Thank you, John, for the presentation. We'll now begin the public testimony part of the forum. Let me first extend invitations to any elected officials who may have joined us this evening to give comments. Ms. Black, are you going to be managing this process with me?
Yes, I'm right here with you.
Thank you. So do we have any elected officials?
Our first registered speaker is the Honorable Susan Whitney of the City of College Park. If you could turn on your mic and your camera.
Thank you. Can you see me and hear me?
We can, council members. Good to see you, and take it away.
Wonderful. It's nice to see you as well. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak with all of you this evening. I also want to thank MNC PPC for its quick response to the July 12th storm that we had so much damage from in College Park. We were so thankful that our trails were opened back up so quickly. They really are a lifeline in this community. A lot of people use them to grocery shop and get to the metro and everything else. So thank you for that. And thank you for all the other wonderful playgrounds and trails and amenities we enjoy here in College Park. I wanted to bring up today specifically we'd like to request some additional funds or attention be directed to Lakeland Community Park in particular. I also wanted to thank you, however, for installing just this past couple weeks, a new swing set was installed there. There was one tot swing and now we have two. So that is wonderful. Thank you for that. The rest of the equipment is getting a little dated. And we'd love to see a revamp of that playground. It's for those who have not been there, it's really the first impression you get of the Lakeland community as you drive into the community off of Route 1. And it really welcomes you into the neighborhood, which has a beautiful and important history. We would love to see that be a more multi-generational space, perhaps some fitness centers that so families can use the playground together with the younger children playing on the playground and adults having workout equipment there on site would be excellent. So really just a diversification and an updating of the offerings, and to consider that in your planning for the coming years. So thank you very much again for the opportunity to speak, and welcome to your role as leader, Mr. Shapiro.
Thank you, Councilmember. Before you go off, this is the one, and pardon me for taking a moment of personal privilege, but this is the one on the way to All Dogs Club, right? Tucked back in the industrial area?
Yes, you can get to All Dogs Club either through Berwyn or through Lakeland. You can,
Okay,
and yes, it is.
Because as I drive by it, I note the pickleball courts that are there, and they seem quite busy.
They're very popular.
Good. All right, good. So noted your concerns, and I promise you the staff has taken note of it as well, and we'll be following up with you either way.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Black, who's next?
Next in our list, we have, I apologize if I mess up your last name, Jeff Lemieux.
Lemieux.
Lemieux, thank you very much. You got it very close. And thanks for taking public comment tonight. I'm a resident of Greenbelt, and our family is a business owner in College Park. I've talked to this forum in the past on behalf of the Washington Area Bicyclist Association, but tonight I'm just talking as a resident. I'd like to bring to the group's attention an idea to try to link the WBNA Trail to the Anacostia River Trail system, which I think is perhaps the highlight of all of our parks here in Prince George's. When that bridge over the Patuxent River is complete next year, people will be able to have a safe route from Annapolis and BWI area right through into Prince George's County. But then the trail kind of ends. And several years ago, on behalf of WABA and Bike Maryland, I wrote a proposal to try and extend that trail right down Martin Luther King Boulevard, Route 704 to DC. And I think some staffers, Fred Schaefer, took a look at it, but decided that the feasibility wasn't ideal. And so the idea that I'm trying to pitch now here in Greenbelt and also to MDOT and SHA is, instead of going south to DC with the WBNA, to try and connect with the Anacostia River Trail system by going west toward Greenbelt along Maryland Route 193. The road is already paved. The right-of-way is enormous, so we wouldn't have to diet any road lanes. Construction would be cheap, at least all the way to Roosevelt High School. And the segment I'm proposing to start with would be from the Glendale Splash Park, where there's a trail entrance, to Eleanor Roosevelt High School in Greenbelt East. And I have a website with some details. It's called greenbeltnasatrail.org with no punctuation, greenbeltnasatrail.org, that has some pictures and resources. Now, ideally, it would be great to continue on 193 all the way to connect with the Anacostia River Trail system near Lake Artemisia. But once you get to Greenbelt, there's highways and there would be a lot of issues. But there's also safe ways to ride and jog and walk through Greenbelt toward the Greenbelt Metro Station and still get over safely to the Anacostia River Trail system. Ideally, it would be phenomenal to be able to connect the ARTS with the WBNA. I think this could be done quickly. I don't think it's necessarily a PG Parks jurisdiction all the way, but if you guys can help these kinds of trail projects involve the city of Greenbelt, the county, County Public Works, PG Parks and Planning, and also MDOT. And to have a coordinator function out of Park and Planning would be just fantastic to see if we can get a feasibility study and get this project scoped out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the time that you took, and your concerns and your ideas are certainly noted.
Thank you.
Ms. Black, who do we have next?
Thank you. Abigail Crow.
Do we have her on camera or just microphone?
Looking. Abigail Crow.
I don't think we have Ms. Crow with us, but if she pops in, I'll bring her back. And next?
Next on our list is Callie Crumpos.
Ms. Krumpos?
All right. How are you doing?
Good evening. Take it away.
All right. Well, good evening, Chairman Shapiro and members of the Planning Board. Thank you for inviting us to speak today. I want to thank you for the opportunity. My name is Callie Crumpos. I'm here on behalf of the Capitol Trails Coalition. The Capitol Trails Coalition is made up of more than 70 member organizations, including agencies, businesses, and community groups across Prince George's and Montgomery counties, the District of Columbia, and Northern Virginia. Our goal is to create an equitable, connected, and low-stress network of nearly 1,000 miles of multi-use trails that will transform public life by providing access to open spaces and reliable transportation for people of all ages and abilities. I want to start off by thanking MNCPPC for the great work you're doing. For example, we're thrilled to see progress on trail development, including the start of construction on the WV&A Trail Bridge connecting Prince George's and Anne Arundel counties, and the construction on the Rhode Island Trolley Trail. In addition to progress implementing the wayfinding sign plan for the Anacostia River Trail. As we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic increased the number of people who ventured out on our regional trails for walking, running, and cycling. For example, between April through September of 2020, there was an 81% increase in trail users on the Anacostia River Trail compared to the same time in 2019. In 2020, in March of 2020, trails nationwide saw, on average, a 79% increase in use. Similarly, we know the Prince George's County Trails Master Plan found that the vast majority of county residents, about 79%, think it's very important to add, expand, and improve trails, increasing the quality of life for county residents. And for those of you who've been out on our regional trails, you can definitely see that every day. So these usage rates and community surveys tell us that it's an opportune time to invest more funding into trails, as they're not only recreational assets, but also critical transportation assets. People will only continue to select trails as a means of transportation if we build out the network and connect these trails to the places where people work, play, shop. We call for prioritized funding for connecting and completing the trails already in the county plans, especially the Oxen Run Trail, Prince George's County Connector, and the Suitland Parkway Trail, among others. We know that trails are not simply a nice to have, but are critical pieces of the sustainable transportation infrastructure. And we know that those trails also bring impressive benefits to the communities, including for economic, health, and environmental benefits, including $190 million in total economic impacts and $435 million in savings per year, resulting from economic, health, and environmental impacts once the county were to complete the additional 200 miles of trails in the county Capitol Trails network in the CTC plans. And we look forward to supporting and working with you to move forward these important trail projects, including through the implementation of your Master Trails Plan and the Formula 2040 Plan. Thank you for allowing me some time to speak today.
Thank you, and thanks to all the work that the coalition does and all the work that you do. Appreciate it. Ms. Black, who do we have next?
It's our final speaker for this evening. It's Robert Thurston.
Okay, Mr. Thurston, are you online? You are.
Good evening, Chairman Shapiro and Board Commissioners. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And I just want to say it was a dog's fault. He should have recognized which car to go into. The thing I'm following up on is Councilman request for the renovation of the Lakeland Park. I'm the Civic Association president for Lakeland, for the Lakeland Civic Association. The park falls within the intersection of two, I think, very important things: the Anacostia Tribute Trail and also the historic African American community of Lakeland. We are in the process of restorative justice for the community, and one of the things that we would greatly appreciate is actually having a place to call home. A placemaking location for Lakeland Park would be a great asset, and we would definitely contribute to the 2035 create lake placemaking. It's a great destination along the trail, and we would like for it to be a destination, not just a park. Multi-generational activity would be great. But more importantly, because there's only a fraction of the community left, that park holds a great deal to the heart and soul of the community, and it would provide a location for the diaspora of Lakeland that was displaced to return home. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Thurston. Hold on for just 1 second. I just want to make sure I'm understanding the request. Are you, because I'm hearing two things. One is maybe the placemaking piece of this. Is this about some kind of recognition and interpretation and plaques and communications? And are you also talking about some kind of a new amenities or a new facility? What is it that you're hoping for? What's the aspiration?
The aspiration at this point is truly just to renovate the park to a place. Right now, it has a tot park. It does have activities as far as the pickleball, basketball, but we would like for it to be a destination for 8 to 80. So multi-generational from that perspective. That would be a request coming back to you much later if we were asking for plaques or something like that. But right now, as we are working through this process, that is the closest thing that we have that is traditional Lakeland that we would like to spruce it up so that we can have a destination.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I appreciate that. Thanks for all the work that you do in the community too.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. Ms. Black, any other speakers we have before us? Did Ms. Crow show up?
No, I do not see her, but just one more time, Abigail Crow. And
Okay.
that would be the final list of speakers.
Okay, thank you. So if there's no one else before us for this public hearing, this concludes the public testimony for the forum. I want to thank everybody for logging on remotely and providing all of your thoughts and suggestions for our budget for FY 2024. As a reminder, as I said at the beginning, written comments will be accepted until the close of business on Tuesday, November 1st, 2022, which you can send in the ways that you see listed here by mail, fax, and email. Again, we appreciate your participation, your collaboration as we continue to enhance our parks, our planning efforts, and our recreation offerings and services for Prince George's County residents. So with that, I want to thank everybody, and this budget forum is concluded. Commissioners, thank you all for your time, and y'all have a good evening.
You as well. Thank you.